Hello and welcome everyone to Teslanomics Live. I'm your host Ben Sullins, and this is the show where we break down the latest Tesla news from the week that has passed. And we do it live because, as you tend to get familiar with around here, the things change very quickly in the world of Tesla and Elon Musk. And today is no exception, but we do have some kind of really fun, interesting stuff today as well. The show will run maybe around an hour. We'll have a big Q&A section at the end, which is hosted on Crowdcast. If you want to be a part of that, you need to just join our email list, and then we'll send you an invite on Monday mornings. You can do so at teslanomics.co/join, and I hope to see you there in the future. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is something I'm doing, which I announced last week, and I want to just remind you guys of in case you missed it. And that was that I'm starting this new academy called the Free the Data Academy. And the idea here is to, if you're interested, and maybe because you're into data and analytics and the stuff that I do on this channel, I have a guess that you might be into this. If you want to start your career in data science, I am going to help you. I'm going to create an online course that kind of condenses all the 20 years of experience that I've had in this industry from top to bottom, from a low-level engineer to a chief data officer, and give that to you as a way to help you land that first job. Now, if you already have a job in the data field and you want to change positions or get promoted, this also can help you. But the beginning stages are for folks that are looking to get into this. Maybe you have a tech background, maybe you're a firefighter, who knows, whatever it is. I want to give you all of the soft skills, all of the things that any programming course or anything in college won't give you. The thing that really will make the difference and get you that first job and then get you on your path in your career in data science. I had an amazing 18-ish years in there, and I really think that if you're into this kind of thing, there is no better path for you. So I want to help you with that. You can get on the list to get notified right as soon as we start to launch the course, which I'm targeting mid-October, by going to ftdacademy.com, or as you see on the screen there, teslanomics.co/getdsjob. And on this page here, which you can see, I have a little video which kind of goes into it. I have my friend James from Airbnb who kind of vouched for me, and then I have the sign up form where you just enter your info, and then I'll shoot you a note once it gets time closer to launch. So just wanted to start out with that in case you guys missed that last week. Now, the biggest story, the fun story that I want to talk about today is one that I'm really, really excited to watch this. We've got some just kind of great videos to talk about this week. So this is that Jay Leno is going to be doing a review, or whatever you want to call it, of the new Tesla Roadster, the Next-Gen Roadster, of which, yes, I will be getting one in this exact color. There's Franz and Jay outside at the SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, outside of the design studio where they make these things, talking about it. And so this is a preview that they posted on YouTube, and it looks pretty impressive. I really like Jay's show, and I think I just can't wait to see it. I think it's airing, I believe, this Wednesday. This Thursday on CNBC. So, they didn't pay me to say that. This is just something that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to let you guys know about. Now, in this little video here where Franz and Jay are talking about this, there are some things that they covered which I thought were quite interesting. One was, and let me just go back to a different shot there, that it still doesn't have mirrors. Now, this is an interesting thing because Elon had talked about this recently where, and we'll get into where he talked about that, the manufacturer technically has to make the car with mirrors, but the way Elon put it was that his understanding is the owner doesn't necessarily have to have mirrors to drive it. So between what the manufacturer does and what the owner does, there's a disconnect. So if that pans out, and maybe the laws will change, whatever, if that pans out, essentially this car will be sold with mirrors that you can then remove if you're so inclined and drive it without them. That's I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. Now, something interesting to note about Jay Leno, there's been some kind of weird confusion around his thoughts on Tesla. So I put a link in the description about his actual first review of the Model S, which he did with Franz, and this was back with the 2012 Model S. And it was all thumbs up. It was all good. I mean, you think of, look at Franz back then. Wow. You think of Jay Leno as kind of the roll your sleeves up, grease bucket guy, wrenching on a car. And of course, yes, he is that, right? With his hundreds of vehicles that are all incredible that he owns. But I have it on good authority as well that his daily driver is a Tesla Model S. So if there's any doubt at all, just go watch this old video here where they first reviewed the Model S, the 2012 version, which wasn't even nearly as good as the ones that are coming out of the factory now. And get his thoughts there. It was all good, all thumbs up. And then, also the fact that this is his daily driver, or at least, one of the more common daily drivers for him compared to literally every incredible car you could imagine that he owns. Jay Leno is definitely a fan. I think it's safe to say that he likes Tesla. He likes what they're doing. And so I can't wait to see what happens or what his thoughts are on the new Roadster. Let me know what you guys think. Yes, I'm even more excited to get mine now. I think I have. It's like how people were with the Model 3, how you ordered it and then you had to wait 2 years and you're real kind of anxious about that. That's me now with the Roadster times 2. And my plan, just to be clear, because I've been getting a lot of questions about this, the cars that I'll be getting are, valued around $250,000 each, and they will be counted as income taxes. So that's far greater than just sales taxes, meaning that each one, depending on where I land with my regular income for that year, maybe between $80,000 to $95,000 per vehicle. But the good news is that if I get them both in the same year, I can sell one and pay the taxes on both of them. And it's income taxes, so you don't have to pay that until the following year and all these kind of things. So there's lots of ways to work it. I think I'll be okay. I'm definitely going to keep one of them probably for a long period of time. Because if you look at something like what happened with the Porsche 918 Spyder, which there was limited production of as well, those things are selling for over a couple $1 million each now. And so it'll definitely make sense to keep them for as long as I possibly can. So that's my plan with it. I'm curious to see what else we learn from the interview with Jay and what his thoughts are. So stay tuned for that later this week. And of course, if there's any major developments out of that, we'll talk about it next week as well. Okay. Next, the thing I wanted to talk about is another interview, another video. This was YouTuber MKBHD, one of my favorites, talking to Elon Musk about tech. And I'm not going to play the video for you. I'll put a link to it. You guys have probably already seen it, but I just want to go through the things that I thought were interesting that stood out here. So one thing is that Elon, Marquez asked Elon about a cheaper version of a Tesla. And Elon said basically, yes, in 3 years, if we work really hard and do this stuff, because with each successive design iteration, things get better and cheaper. Now, and he said around $25,000 would be the price tag. Now, to me, this is weird. I don't actually see the need for that. Basically, the way I view this, and a lot of people compare this to the iPhone moment kind of thing, and while there are lots of similarities there, it's important to remember that Apple with the iPhone account for about 15% of the overall market share of smartphones. So it means 85% of smartphones in the world are non-iPhones. Now, if you live in the U.S., California specifically, it may not seem the case. It may seem like everyone here has one, which is very true. It is extremely common in the U.S. Maybe I think it's around 45% or something like that. So still higher, but definitely not the majority. The thing that I think is more likely is you're going to see these other manufacturers start to make very compelling electric vehicles similar to Tesla, however, much less feature rich and much more affordable. So whether or not Tesla can get there, I kind of don't care. I really don't think if it makes sense for them. They will always, in my eyes, be a premium automaker. Even the Model 3 is about as low end as I could imagine them making a vehicle. So, to me, it's interesting that he said that. We'll see whether or not that pans out. I can't imagine it. What I can see are things like the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Bolt getting design iterations that make them much more appealing and even better. Things like that, right? That's where I think you're going to see the bulk of EVs being sold in the near future, of which, by the way, everyone is predicting that will happen much sooner than previously anticipated. We'll see on that, of course. So, Marquez also asked Elon about the next big thing. He said the Model Y, and of course we all knew that. Then the Semi, and then the Next-Gen Roadster, etc. But we didn't nothing new there. The piece that was interesting about that part of the conversation was when Elon said that the Model Y will be price comparable to the Tesla Model 3. That to me is very interesting because it's going to be a bigger vehicle. It's smaller than the Model X, reportedly or rumored, and we'll find out more when they finally unveil it. But the thing that I was expecting that to be 55 to 60,000 base model. If he said it's price comparable to a Model 3, and we're considering the low end of that to be 35,000. This could be a pretty compelling vehicle, one that I most likely will go after. Now, the thing I really don't like about the Model Y is the design, the silhouette, the little teaser images. They look bad, I guess is the way. They look chunky. Not something I'm a fan of. So we'll see. I can't imagine Tesla making a non-beautiful vehicle. It's like what they do, and Franz and his team are second to none in the world. So we'll see. But that was really interesting to me when he said the Model Y price would be comparable to the Model 3. Okay, next, Marquez asked Elon about the Next-Gen Roadster. Marquez is a day one reservation holder. He is paying for his. I believe he will get some sort of a discount, but not nearly, not 100% free or anything like that. So Elon did say there will be room inside, and that Elon, this is funny to me, is 6'1.5", which, I say I'm 5'11.5", so I kind of agree with him on those types of measurements. There won't be side mirrors, as we talked about, but the manufacturer will make them, but they won't. The owners won't necessarily have to do that. And the range will not require, the 200 kilowatt hour battery pack will not require a major overhaul of battery technology as we know it. He basically said that the floor of the vehicle will get 4 to 5 inches higher with the current technology, and that all they're basically doing is doubling the cell. So they don't have to double the entire battery pack because there's a lot of added overhead and all that. And in fact, my friends over at 2-Bit DaVinci just did a really great video breakdown on what those battery packs are. So I'll put a link to that in the description, or you can just search for that 2-Bit DaVinci and check out the part 2 of their battery module breakdown, because it was really fascinating learning how all those things fit together. But essentially, you don't have to double all the components, so it wouldn't make it like 10 inches higher. You only have to double the cells, and then all the other overhead bits are very very minimal. So in addition to that, Elon said that he thinks they can get at least 10, if not 20% better than originally estimated, which you can bet I am going to go test when I actually get my Roadster. So interesting stuff there. They also talked about track mode on the Model 3, and that it basically on the performance Model 3, and how it opens up a lot of settings. And with these settings, they're kind of like expert user mode. And so one thing that comes to mind is Oversteer versus Understeer, which when a car is turning, generally what's going to happen to the car, for a consumer vehicle, not a race car, it's not going to let you kind of oversteer and spin out and crash because it wants to save you from that. But here it looks like you may be able to adjust some of those things, as well as things like traction control, battery temperature, which again is controlled to try to preserve the longevity of it. So that I can't wait to get my hands on. Everyone that I know that has a performance Model 3 doesn't have track mode yet, so kind of we'll see. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about this interview that I thought was interesting was Marquez was asking Elon about what is next. We know about the Tesla master plan, but what's next for you guys? And Elon had a funny analogy. He said, Tesla kind of needs to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. And what he's referring to is, traditionally, so far, Tesla has only been able to make one vehicle at a time, right? So they start with the Roadster. Cool, the original Roadster. They've got that prototype. People love it. It takes Silicon Valley by storm. Literally, people are knocking on Elon's door trying to get one, offering him millions of dollars. It just doesn't happen. Then they come out the Model S. That's the next car. Then they come out the Model X. Then the Model 3. And so they're only doing one new vehicle at a time, right? Even if you look at a Model S or a Model X now from when they were originally unveiled, they are strikingly similar. Even my 2013 Model S, when I get in a brand new Model S, it's almost identical. I mean, there are little tiny little things here and there that are different, but generally they're the exact same vehicle. So Tesla wants to be able to do 2 new vehicles at a time, not just one. And so I think that'll be interesting. I don't think that's the right move right now. I think they need to stabilize a lot of this stuff, become profitable, maybe have a quarter or two of steady growth just within their existing product lines before they start adding too much. Because as we've seen, they definitely have, as my old boss would say, got ahead of their skis here a little bit, where they're essentially trying to do too much at once and they can't keep up, which leads to all kinds of problems. So that's it for my thoughts on that interview with Marquez and Elon. It was fascinating to watch. I love that we get to see Elon in more of a context like this, and of course MKBHD doing the best job and really staying focused on, I think, what most people care about and less of the distractions and stuff that other people don't. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Next, I want to talk about a report I saw that was really interesting, and this was from CNBC. And this report is stating that 8,000 Model 3s are possible in the current Tesla factory, 8,000 Model 3s per week. So what they're saying is that, and these are the quotes from it, from Evercore ISI, they're saying, Tesla seems well on the way to achieving a steady weekly production rate of 5,000 to 6,000 units per week. The upbeat comments come amid a growing cloud for Tesla chief executive Elon Musk, who recently tweeted that he would be privatizing the electric automaker. So, as you know, I believe it was the end of Q2, they officially hit 5,000 Model 3s per week, and then with that, they also were producing 2,000 Model S and X. Now, that is a large volume of vehicles for them. I believe it was the Ford CEO who was kind of trolling Elon there. It said something like, 12,000 cars produced last 12 hours or something like that. So anyways, I wanted to see what would actually happen if we plugged in those numbers in terms of the production for this year and then the future years. So if you recall, I built this Model 3 production ramp using a log growth curve. So this is a legit algorithm. I didn't just make this up. I didn't just pull these numbers out of the hat. This is the model that Elon and everyone else says is how these things work, how the actual growth of production in a factory or in their factory works. So I'm using the actual statistical model here to forecast what they're doing. Now, if you look, the way this works is you punch in a couple dates and then the algorithm takes over and can predict. Then you have to punch in the peak value, the top end of this, right? So what is the bottom, what is the top? So if we start with the first week of the year at 1,000 vehicles, which is what Tesla reported, and then we update this, the second one to 7/1/2018, and let me punch that in. 7/1/2018, and we upgrade that to the 5,000 per week. And we'll give them a little bit of a conservative estimate there. Oh no, let's reset it. Want. And it broke. See what happens when you start playing with numbers? You start breaking things. Okay, let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work, we will revisit it next time. Okay. Go there. Okay. So the peak of 8,000, this is the key thing. When you punch that in, you can see essentially where they're at. So this forecast, if their production actually follows this in a very smooth way, which we know it won't do exactly, it'll come close. You can see that essentially when 2018, they're looking at 243,000 Model 3s produced. This is using the real data of 1,000 a week starting in January and then 5,000 a week at the end of Q2. And then, the total there of 8,000. I think it's more likely they'll see maybe 6,000. And if you punch that in, you can see that there's still about 200,000 Model 3s produced in 2018, which is incredible. So, all signs point to this being a massive, successful year for Tesla. So, anyone out there that's short on them, that doesn't understand this stuff, I mean, just look at the data. It kind of lays it out for you right there. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. Leave me a comment down below. Okay, next I want to talk about some fun stuff that that me and my friend Zach did. And this was, we actually installed a tow hitch on my Model 3. So let me pull up the video here and show you kind of what's going on with this. And I do have some funny comments to share with you on that. So there it is. There's the tow hitch on the Model 3, and we pulled my son's Model 3, his kid's Model S, in a trailer that was 1,700 pounds. Now, this is the Eco Hitch from Torque Lift Central, and it's rated to pull 2,000 pounds. So when you do 2,000 pounds, you do 1,700 pounds there, plus the, I think, 30 or 40 pounds from the mini Model S, and then Zach standing on it, who's got to be 200 pounds at least. You know, we're pretty close to the max weight. And so we had a fun time doing this. You can go check that out over on his channel, Jerry Rig Everything. And so I'll put a link to that down below. The basic idea, let me fast forward to some of the parts where we actually have it going. Yeah, installing here. The idea with this is that you actually need to have like a bike rack or something, because this is an aftermarket no drill setup. You can see exactly how you have to install it in the video there. He kind of goes through it in great detail. But then the thing after that is there's no brake-like connection. Now see, with any trailer in California and in a lot of states, you need to actually have the connection. So when you hit the brakes in your car, it will also hit the brakes, or the lights will come up on the trailer. So unless you're in a state that allows, that doesn't require that, at maybe a smaller size trailer or something, that you can't actually tow a trailer. So we were doing this just as a demonstration to see kind of how it would perform in a parking lot, as you can see there, in kind of a closed setting. So that was the video. It was fun. I think what I'm going to use it for in reality is carrying bikes, because one of the challenges with the Model 3, especially if you want to like take your family on a bike ride and you need to go drive somewhere cool, like in San Diego we have Coronado Island, which is a beautiful place to go ride your bikes in. I don't have any room to take the bikes plus the family plus beach gear, whatever else. So I think that's what I'll mostly be using it for. Also, we have some other kind of wild ideas on what to do. But it was a pretty fun project. One thing about it, and let me see if I can find the point in the video. One thing about it, we actually had to cut a hole in the bumper right there. So you can see we actually had to cut this out because this is where the tow hitch goes. The tow hitch fits underneath, meaning that it's completely hidden when it's not installed. And the way that works is you have to cut a hole in this bumper. Now, one of the things about that is that people have reported, or there were a couple cases recently saying that people's bumpers fell off after some rain. And in theory, the way that would work, so you understand, is that this bottom bumper part would get filled with water and then be so heavy it would rip off of the vehicle. Now that is possible, and sometimes things can be installed improperly. However, I'm still going to go on saying that that's extremely unlikely. And somebody emailed us saying that, oh my God, you cut a hole in your bumper. Now imagine how quickly water will get in there. Well, the good news is that if water can get in through this hole, it also can get out through this hole. And when we took this off, when we actually took the bumper off, I don't know if I can find it for you, there were tons of rocks and stuff in there. So it was kind of interesting. I was a little concerned because, I mean, I haven't been off-roading in this car or doing anything crazy. I mean, jumping it and driving around generally. But it's not something that, I was surprised to see it. So let me see if I can find the point where we took it off, because it was packed with little dirt and debris. So anyways, after we cut a hole in it, you install it. There you go. That's what that looks like. Now you can see essentially we have a spot here for water debris to exit, which is great. So I think like that's actually a win in this case. Now, for the record, I'm not suggesting you go cut a hole in this just for that sake. I'm not suggesting that at all. I am just saying that, if you want to install a tow hitch, it is possible. And I'll put a link to this video where you can see kind of the full detail of how we did that. It took a couple hours, and that was with us filming every bit of it. So if you didn't have to do that, it wouldn't be that bad. You need a couple specialty screws, screw bits and things like that. But in general, it wasn't that hard. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about that, because the results are pretty awesome. This is some pretty fun footage that we got there. So go check that video out, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, next I want to talk about some fun stuff, and then we'll get into Q&A. this was that we do have a winner. So someone did win the wall connector, which is the signature black wall connector, which I raffled off, which is just from the referral program. Got a lot of folks that joined the channel, so thank you everyone for helping that out. And the winner is Eaton L. from New Jersey. Throw his name down there. So I will be reaching out to him. He will be responsible for shipping. But other than that, thanks to everyone that helped with this giveaway. Sorry you all couldn't have won, but that's the idea behind these contests. So I didn't want to leave you empty-handed, though. I didn't want to end on that kind of empty note. I am doing another giveaway here. This I will have up on the screen for you there. And this is that I am raffling off. Let me see if I can move the display so you can see it. I am raffling off a Tesla Model 3 screen protector. Actually, here, let me go here. Okay, so I'm raffling off this guy. This is a Model 3 screen protector from Elon Accessories. It's pretty cool. There's like all this kind of good stuff in here. There's a nice note. Seems pretty high quality, and these do retail, I think, for around $90. They sent one to me a while ago. Haven't had a chance to install it, and I've got all kinds of other stuff going on. So I just thought, one of you guys would probably enjoy it more than I will. So you're welcome to it. Now, in order to enter on this one, it's basically the same idea as before. If you're already subscribed to the channel, just go ahead and click subscribe on this page here. And there's a big description there about it. And then refer your friends, because referring your friends is how you win triple the entries. So for every person you refer, you get 3 additional entries, not just 1. And so that's kind of how it works. And that's how this whole thing works. So I'm just going to run this for this week. For 5 days, it's going to end on Saturday night. So go ahead, go visit teslanomics.co/M3SP, I hope you guys win. You will be responsible for shipping, but this is obviously a much lighter, smaller thing to pay for than the wall connector. And I think these retail for around $90. So yeah, hopefully it's valuable to you guys, and best of luck. Okay, so now let's head over and get into the Q&A. Let me take a big swig of water. And if you are on Patreon, or I'm sorry, if you're on Crowdcast, go ask your questions. I already have the Patreon ones there, or maybe I don't. Let me pull those up right here. All right. And the Patreon ones, that's not it. Patreon questions. There we are. Okay. Let's do some Patreon questions. First, Crafty Geek. Given that Tesla's mentioned plans to include standard power outlets on the pickup, do you think that they'd consider that as an upgrade/add-on for current vehicles, or similar to vehicle-to-grid home? Would that undercut Powerwall too much? Elon has said that the vehicle-to-grid option may be coming back, and I believe it was available in the very first Teslas. So, that could definitely be something to see. I don't know about the standard edition or an add-on. That seems like it would be a little odd to me and not kind of in line with what they do. I think it would be awesome if there was like something that you could do for that. I mean, because these cars are incredibly functional. They're not necessarily something you take to like a work site, but let's say someone like myself, I'm out filming, doing a video. It'd be great just to have a way to hook something up in the back that could have power a bunch of batteries or just things like that. So I think it'd be great. I don't really foresee it happening though. Thanks for the question, Crafty. Caleb asks, hey Ben, which vehicle has better AC, the Model 3 or the Model S? I'm down here in South Louisiana and it gets hot. Louisiana. I'm undecided, a new Model 3 or a used S, and the AC system is a big consideration in my decision. Love the channel. So thanks for your support, Caleb. I would have to go with the Model 3. The Model S is good, but the Model 3 with the way that it just circulates the air is like a lot cooler, and it's a lot more fine-grained control. I can't really tell you that one is blows harder or colder than the other one, really. But it certainly is it certainly is nice how you can control it in a very kind of fine-grained way in the Model 3. So I like that. I would probably go with that one. Hope that helps, Caleb. Mel asks, Can anyone convince Elon to put himself into chill mode for a while and get some much deserved rest? Hey, I did my part. I made the video. We'll see. He's even said that he wants to go into chill mode, but he just can't seem to do it. And then, in fact, I believe Ariana Huffington was telling him something about getting more sleep, and he kind of rebutted that. I don't know. It's nonsense. At this point, I'm just going to ignore the Elon drama and focus on the company and the products, because I see that stuff as a distraction. I want to get to like the meaty stuff that I think you guys care about. Dana Pearson asks, if this is not relevant, ignore it. I really want Model 3 towing. Willing to pay a chunk for it? Go check out the video. I just did it. $3,500 deposit and configure, but thinking of deferring about this small battery. I don't need tax write-offs, and my Leaf is still fun. Worst case of Model X next year. Hey, man, yeah, all for it. Don't care about the structural warranty. I'm 68, but that's frustrating. Where no data on where the car can theoretically handle. I know it is. So, yeah, go check it out. I believe it was Torque Lift Central is the one that sells the Eco Hitch. Like I said, I installed it with my buddy Zach in a couple hours. It wasn't that hard. I'm really not good with those kind of things, and I probably could have done it myself if I had to. But if you have a couple buddies and some wrenches, it's pretty straightforward. In the video, Zach covers in detail how to actually where all the screws are, the size of them, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. So yeah, I would just go for the Model 3 and then get that thing. I think it's worth it. Now the only thing is if you have to tow a trailer, because it does not have the brake light thing. So if in that case, and I don't know if it ever will. So I would either defer or go with the Model S or Model X. I believe Model S is a tow hitch thing. But yeah, there you go. Hope that helps you, Dana. Larry Souders, aloha Ben, kind of chiming in on Mel's concern about Elon vacations. Elon don't seem to get along very well. I feel the best option for our hero is a good, solid second in command to take good portion of the heat off Elon's back. I believe that is the case. I believe people are talking about that right now. Let our brave leader do what he loves and does best, engineering and software, yes. He also needs to get the hell away from the tweet, or at least crank down a few notches. Okay, so I'll say one thing about this, because Mark Cuban chimed in on this recently, and he was talking about how not everyone, but a lot of analysts, a lot of the public were talking, basically saying the same things about Bezos with Amazon. They'll never make money. What's this guy doing? And the same thing about Jobs with Apple, right? Jobs got fired from Apple. They put in a more traditional CEO, and it really hurt the company. They had to bring him back because that charisma, that kind of way of doing business that is unorthodox is what made them who they are. So I agree. It would be nice if he could delegate more and have more of the business manager, like a COO. But that just doesn't seem like his style. So I really do think that would be helpful if they could figure out a way to do it. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for the question. Chamburn asks, since I'm from Africa and more people are getting into middle income, I remember that Elon tweeted about the Model 3 to be available for the African market and in right-hand drive. Any info on when that might be available? I know that the right-hand drive of the Model 3 production begins in 2019. Also, when Tesla implements in a country, do they provide immediately all the services and products, or do they do it at an incremental level? Yeah, I don't know about Africa having a Model 3. That might be a while, because I don't believe they have even an S or an X. But Elon, I feel like, did have comments on that. It might have been related to regulations or government. You can probably search for some comments that he may have had. And as you know, Elon is from South Africa, so yeah, I mean, he probably would have pull. Trying to talk to folks there and figure that out. So there you go. That's my thoughts on that. Hope that helps. All right, now let's head over to Crowdcast, where we have some additional questions. And thank you to everyone hanging on. I'm actually going to close that up and then open it again in case we get any new questions in. Okay, the first question comes from Franz. What rights of refusal do I have if the car delivered does not meet expectations, i.e. condition? Do I have a right to demand a loaner until my car is repaired or replaced? Is Tesla liable for my losses if the car isn't delivered on time? Insurance costs, loss of pay. The blogs I've read tell you about delivery problems, and I would like to know what are my rights. I actually don't know in terms of what your rights are. I have heard of people refusing delivery for one thing or another, and often if it is a quality thing, it's on the other end where they find the quality thing. And remember, the delivery team, they get the car and they're cranking them out and delivering them so quickly. They maybe have the car, have it physically inspected an hour before you get there. Or at least that's kind of my guess. It doesn't seem like something that they've, they have enough time or resources to spend hours with every individual car. So the assumption they have, I believe, is like the car should be ready to go when it hits the delivery center. They're just facilitating you taking delivery of it, which is vastly different than when I got my first one. I really kind of, it'd be nice if they had, different models with different delivery experiences, but so far that's what I know. You should be able to refuse it. I don't know where you're located, what country or anything like that. So I assume you're in the U.S. though. But yeah, as far as I know, you can refuse it. In terms of, they're usually good about giving you a loaner. I don't know about anything else regarding losses and that. So sorry. Thanks for the question, Franz. DJ asks, has Elon's Times interview helped or harmed the Tesla brand? I don't know. I really didn't dig into it. I was far more interested in the one with Marquez because I think that was much more relevant to me as an owner. I understand that it's that the stock went down, but again, I have very little faith in the stock market and try not to pay attention to it. So there you have it. Thanks for the question, DJ. Tom asks, it seemed to me that Elon's texting and Wall Street's reaction to all that publicity has obscured what has been going on in both Sparks and Fremont. It was only a month or so ago that the story was that Tesla couldn't deliver quality cars. Now they appear to be shipping a bit over 6,000 threes a week. I don't know if that's true. That number's maybe a little bit high. Mostly crickets on that. So is this simply people don't naturally gravitating to bad news, or is it part of the continued shorts push to deep six Tesla? Yeah, okay, yeah, I like where you're going with this. This is an interesting question. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have a lot of money at stake for Tesla to fail. And every other week or so, anytime we get concrete evidence to the contrary, they it seems to be a spurry of news stories which are seemingly out of nowhere that kind of paint things in a negative light to try to hurt the stock. I think the whole stock market is kind of a racket anyways, and I don't play that game. So it's one of those things, like, I guess I don't care that much. I really do hope they can take the company private, so that way it doesn't matter, right? And the thing that does matter is them making the cars and people loving them, because that's truly, I think, the critical piece. And being public definitely hurts their ability to succeed on that front, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for the question, Tom. Leo asks, regarding the Saudis wanting to invest in Tesla, the optimist in me thinks it's good to help bring Tesla out of the shareholders' string pulling, but conspiracy theorist in me thinks it's a red herring and that they will destroy the EV industry from the inside. What are your thoughts? I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I don't honestly know. Like the way I think of this whole thing is energy companies and folks with huge stakes in energy, which in the world today generally means oil, aren't dumb, and they're going to be diversifying. BP, for example, just bought, I believe, the largest charging network in Europe because they know that this is coming. I don't think the Shell, Exxon, BPs, or Saudis with the oil will go away. I think it'll shift. In fact, there's even some really interesting stuff happening over there. If you go check out Robert Llewellyn on the Fully Charged show, where there's cities that are completely green and renewable energy, and then they just ordered like a couple hundred Model X's for a fleet of kind of town car services for the government. I mean, I don't think you should just write off this group because of their tradition or their history with oil. I do think it's something to tread lightly with if I were in the Tesla board's kind of shoes, but I don't think it's something that like these folks see the writing on the wall just like the rest of us. So I don't know that I would write them off entirely. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of with you. I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm also kind of hopeful. So yeah, only time will tell. Thanks for the question, Leo. Jacob asks, the Model 3 all-wheel drive non-performance and the performance version seem to only have one difference. the 0 to 60 time for $11,000. I think it's only $10,000, right? In your opinion, is it worth it? Is the non-performance all-wheel drive software limited or those? No. Okay, so no, the performance model has a larger motor and it also or larger motors, maybe just one larger, I don't know, but it definitely has more power and the actual cabling, the actual powertrain, which transfers the energy to the motors, is larger as well. So I don't believe it's a software thing at all. And it does have a bigger, more powerful hardware on it. So that is the physical difference. Do I think it's worth it? It depends. It depends what you want. I don't think it's something that's necessary at all. But it doesn't mean it's not a reason to go buy it. So yeah, I think it's something you'll have to answer for yourself. There you go. Thanks for the question, Jacob. Les asks, I'm a big fan of Elon, but I'm worried for his mental health lately. The recent New York Times interview made it sound like he is close to cracking up due to the incessant smear campaign. I wonder if he's able to get counseling. I also think he should get off Twitter. Don't read it. Yeah, I feel. I don't think anyone at Tesla can get him to do that. There was a funny comment or tweet. Somebody said the Tesla PR team should be fired for letting him do that interview. I think that's fascinating because the presumption there is that someone can tell Elon what to do. When you're in his position, one of the richest men in the world, one of the most powerful, people don't tell you what to do, right? I think even normal people have an aversion to being told what to do once you're an adult and you kind of are, have in kind of control of your own actions. So. Yeah, that's hilarious to me. No, I don't think anyone can tell him what to do. Maybe through the mental and personal stress. Maybe I assume he probably has a therapist or so. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, and I agree though. I agree. We could use a little bit more temperament and sanity with that stuff because it's not helpful. Thanks for the question/comment, Les. Sean asks, hi, Ben. I am currently a Canadian university student. Looking forward to your upcoming data science course. Awesome. I have a strong interest in being environmentally friendly, but at this point it seems that EVs, especially Teslas, are too expensive for students to afford. Do you think it will mostly be a matter of waiting it out over the next few years for more used EVs and Tesla competitors to enter into the space to make them a more feasible investment for students? Yeah, it's a good question. I wouldn't stretch yourself. I mean, my way of thinking, and this is why I still have a 2013 Model S, and I'm gonna keep it, and I love it. It's one of those things. I don't think you should worry about it that much. There are lots of other ways to be more environmentally conscious than owning a Tesla, and there are lots of cheaper cheaper EVs out there. So if you do want an EV, I would look at maybe some other options. There are plenty that are far more affordable than a Tesla. Granted, they're not as stylish or as feature rich or whatever. So yeah, you're gonna make a compromise. But I mean but that's kind of what it comes down to, right? So. You also could I don't know your situation, but not have a car at all is another option. Take public transportation. I actually did that for a year before moving to California. It was quite nice. So if you want a Tesla, I would say wait until you're financially able to handle that because it definitely isn't cheap. You're right about that. So other than that, you may just have to wait a while. But hey, maybe we can get you a job in data science, and you'll have more money coming in, and it won't be an issue. So hey, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for the question, Sean. Les asks, hi, Ben. When, if ever, do you believe Tesla will start leasing a Model 3? 3 years from now? Maybe? What would that be? 2021? Maybe? Keith asks, good morning, Ben. I picked up a Model 3 about a month ago and overall happy with the vehicle. However, I've tried to sync my calendar and was informed by Tesla that the service is unavailable. Yes, exactly. Thank you, because I have that same problem. Okay, sorry. I then emailed Tesla customer service and was told that the feature might not even be offered. Yep, that is also possibly true. If Tesla is not going to offer that functionality, then why have it as part of the app? Okay, it's because it's for the Model S and for the Model X. That's why. But hopefully they will have an app store one day, and who knows, perhaps there will be a built-in calendar app not made by Tesla that works on the car. How about that? I think that's where we should go. Thanks for the question, Keith. Randall asks, Ben, I took a 4-hour highway drive in my Model 3 and Autosteer gets confused when the lane widens at off ramps. Yep. A couple of times it shut down it shut down unexpectedly in the middle of the off ramp dotted line. What is your experience with the Autosteer feature? Do you like it? No, I don't. I think it's very much still in beta. I don't think it's great, especially in California. Our roads are not great, and so it has a hard time. I am thinking about, I have been testing it with different modes of kind of sitting and holding onto the wheel, etc. So I may actually post a video kind of what I recommend. But unless you're going, let's say, on a nice highway out on a road trip that doesn't have a lot of cars and you can just kind of be in the middle lane, I think right now it's not good for much besides that. So thanks for the question, Randall. Tom asks, I'm told that I should expect my non-performance Model 3 over the next 3 months. I've set up an appointment for a test drive later this week. Do you have a short list of questions and things to learn while I'm driving with the salesperson? I want to make good use of my time. Just enjoy it. Enjoy your driving experience. Make sure you really enjoy the feeling of it. Other than that, make sure the trunk and the front match, your needs in terms of space. Get really comfortable in there. Adjust the seats. Make sure it's something, and then also think about the not having something behind the wheel looking over. That I've got completely used to. That's not an issue for me, but the navigation is still an issue. So, I would just make sure it kind of fits comfortably for you physically, because those are the things that can't really change. The software and all those things obviously will change over time. So, thanks for the question, Tom. And good luck. Why did Tesla stock price drop? Who knows? It's the market. When supercharging on a hot day, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, after a long drive, is it normal for charging to start up and then stop after a few minutes? No. Perhaps charging waits for the battery to cool down a bit? It could be. Unplugging, waiting a few seconds, then replugging and started charging process again. Charging continued to the completion. It could be either. So it's probably not. And so when you say charger, I assume you mean the supercharger. That is basically just a direct plug into the DC outlet. The charger that actually absorbs that energy is built into the car. So it could be an issue with the car. I would call your service center and make sure that's what's going on, because it could be the charger, the actual supercharger station itself, but that I believe just has fewer parts and things that could go wrong. So that's my guess. Call your service center. Peter asks, Model 3 Montreal waiting for rear quarter panel since June 11th. ETA keeps changing, but September 6th now latest. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Same way. I'm taking my Model 3 in for tomorrow for work. Thankfully, all that's needed, they're going to try to actually repair it instead of having to order a part. Thank God, because even here in California and San Diego, there is an indefinite wait time currently, meaning like we don't know if and whenever we'll get parts for certain things. Definitely an issue, something that I think they need to work on. Thanks for the question. Donald asks, I've looked at different adapters for charging my Model 3. They're all combination 1450R with various different plugs that range from 115 15 amp to 240 40 amp. Dryer plugs, generator plugs. Does the Model 3 charger have the ability to sense voltage and current available when Tesla 1450? Yeah, it should. The inside there's a way to adjust it, and so as long as you can connect, I think you're okay. But then inside of the car, it has a way to adjust what it's pulling. That's been my experience personally. If you have more questions, maybe contact Tesla. I don't know the technical side behind that, but that's been my experience. Hope that helps you, Donald. Carlo asks, hi, Ben, quick question. When I plug in my Model 3, I usually wake up to about 353 kilometers charge. However, recently has dropped to 349. Any clue what might be happening? It varies. I get that as well. Some days it charges to 90%, and that's 280 miles for me. Some days it does it 275, and then the next day it'll be back at 280. It's really kind of temperamental right now. I wouldn't worry about it though, unless it just continues to drop, which would be odd. So just hang in there, and you'll see it go up and down. I wouldn't be worried about it. Thanks, Carlo. Phil asks, hi, Ben. I noticed the kilowatt hours used for my wall charger does not equal the amount used in my Model 3 when charging is complete. It uses more. Why? The kilowatt hours used, maybe because it has to power additional things. There's phantom drain, some of the other stuff. And then you can see someone commented there, charging inefficiencies. Yeah, so lots of different stuff happening there when it comes to that. I'm curious how you're measuring that. That's kind of cool, because I've been wanting to do that for a while. Thanks for the question, Phil. I tried charging my 2017 S100 using Gen 1 It kept giving me a red light. Okay, we already talked about this, so I'm going to skip that one. Ken asks, do you know of anyone who has verified P3D has track-worthy brakes? You've probably seen my video of my regular, I haven't, and how the standard brakes don't last more than a few laps. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm curious when it does come out. Thanks for the question, Ken. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I want to thank you all for joining me, and we will be back next week. Later this week, you'll just get highlights from today, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you win the Model 3 screen protector, and I will see you back here then. Until then, don't forget, when you free the data, your mind will follow. All right, see you guys back here soon.